I'm here at 1221 Fairmount in Philadelphia, and there's a guy with a billy club.
People are standing in front of a polling place in paramilitary uniforms, using racial slurs, and one had a nightstick in his hand.
African-American poll watchers told me that they were terrified of the Panthers. They thought a bomb was going to go off.
If that wasn't voter intimidation, I don't know what is voter intimidation.
This is a case that would have been won.
And the Justice Department leadership changed into the hands of a black man by the name of Eric Holder, and they took a look at it and they threw most of everything out.
It was a miscarriage of justice.
I wrote up a resignation letter and I resigned that very day.
Tonight, For the Record, a periodic news magazine produced by us at TheBlaze, and it premieres at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we invite you to watch it tonight. It's about the machine, and it dives into the truth about voter fraud, and it is so much more than the voting machines, so much more. Christian Adams, he's a former attorney in the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division who resigned over the handling of the new Black Panthers case, also the author of Injustice, and Chris Coates. He is the former chief of the voting section at the Department of Justice, also former attorney for the ACLU's Voting Right Project. So, thank you guys for participating in this, and thank you for helping us with this documentary. We were talking before we went on the air that we had a golden opportunity passed to us, and I think we've missed it because this administration put in systems, it seems to me, to disenfranchise voters, and I don't know if it's to exact justice or what it is, but when that Black Panther thing happened, everybody, I think, looked at that and said, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
Not our coworkers.
Right.
Right.
Well, what happened there?
Well, the first thing, one of the first things that the Holder Justice Department did when it came to power is to take a case that should have been taken to its conclusion and an injunction issued against the new Black Panther Party leadership nationwide, and to gut that case. And the dream and the hope that a lot of people had, that you've alluded to, that racial justice would be brought about by the election of the first African-American president, was shown not to be happening. Because if you wanted to convince white America that there was going to be a race-neutral enforcement of the law under the Obama administration, the last thing you would have done is to dismiss that case.
When that happened, well, I've got so many things to talk to you guys about. I don't know if I want to get into, how big were your eyes when you heard what? Let me instead switch it, because we want to talk about the voting tonight. I'm concerned we have so many states that are dead even or so close. Fraud can play a role, and fraud will lead us, I fear, real fraud. If people know, if we go through 2000 again, it will not go well for this country. We'll tear each other apart. What do people have to look for, and how can they help in the voting districts?
Well, one of the worst things that happen is forced assistance. The documentary tonight talks about the machine that exists out there, and there is a well-established, well-oiled machine to push people into the polls, to have them vote the way the assistors want, not the way the voter wants. That's one thing. It's very important that people be given the right to vote, because that's what so many people died for. And unfortunately, in this country, in large parts of the nation, there is an effort to use people as tools, as chattel, to vote a certain way as opposed to really be engaged.
And both sides are engaged in this?
Yeah.
To some extent, but there's a certain history, and we've litigated cases of the Justice Department where the machine, these politicians, their assistants, have stolen the votes of people.
So what should people do? Because it's happening Tuesday. Is there anything people can do at this point?
Yeah, anybody who's staying at home on Election Day, you're not doing your job. You need to be in the polls. You need to volunteer, whether it's with True the Vote, whether your party, whomever. You need to be in the polls on Election Day, or using vacation that you have. You cannot be at home.
Do you think there's going to be a problem with voter intimidation with, like, the Black Panthers? Because I would imagine these guys have been given a green light.
I don't know what the Black Panthers or other militant organizations will do on Tuesday, but I will say this. by the Holder Justice Department dismissing the case, I think that sent a clear message to Black Panther-like groups that if you go to the polling place and act the way that you did in 2008 by carrying a club, is that you can count on the federal government not coming against you.
What is this thing about the UN? Why is the UN? Why are the inspectors coming here? And this has been something they've been working on for almost a year now. What is that?
I do not understand why civil rights groups in the United States feel it a necessity to call in observers from other countries to our elections.
Yeah, and they're specifically targeting conservatives.
They are. At Texas, places that pass voter ID, Iowa. Look, and they're also using observers from countries that torture people, like Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan. These places are countries that have no civil rights. And so these United Nations observers are coming to Texas, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Iowa to observe our elections. It's just outlandish.
I think that those actions are taken by people who want to denigrate the elective process in the United States and to create the impression that things here are not fair by bringing in the UN. Because even if nothing happens, the bringing in observers from other countries carries with it a suggestion that elections are not fair in the United States.
It's unbelievable. Guys, I want to personally thank you for participating in this, helping us put this documentary together tonight and alerting people. But I want to thank you for, I mean, you work for the ACLU. I mean, you're practically the devil to me. But thank you for standing up for what is true and what is right, no matter where it leads. Thank you for the sacrifice that you've given to the country. God bless you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Back in just a second.